Welcome to the Spunky Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, psychic medium Cari Mugz. This is where we learn all things spirit, everything from spiritual gifts, awakenings, ghosts, aliens, and starseeds. Nothing is untouchable, but always fun and spunky. I am honored to be on this spiritual journey with you, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Hello, Spunksters, and welcome to this week's episode of Spunky Spirit. I am psychic medium Cari Mugz, and this week we are going to talk about, it's kind of been a while. I feel like it's been a little bit, but we are back to normal schedule. We're back to our normal schedule of every week. I'm going to try really hard to get it every week. It's been kind of crazy this summer, but we're going back to an every week podcast episode. But this week was crazy because this week I went to PhenomeCon in Vernal, Utah by Skinwalker Ranch. And also I had some amazing experiences with my granddaughter Nellie being born and also with Cari Connect's card last week. It all kind of combined. So I'm going to kind of tell you about that, and it's going to be way fun. So first off, Nellie was born on last Wednesday. And if you guys don't know, she has a heart defect called tautology of Fallot. So her valves are not working correctly, and she is going to need open heart surgery. And they didn't know if she was going to need it when she was first born or if she could prolong the surgery. And so the best case scenario is that she can prolong the surgery till she's 3 or 6 months old when she's a little bit older. And it worked out that everything, she was born and her heart is good, her oxygen is good. So they just have to keep a really strong eye on her for the next 6 months. And hopefully between the next 3 and 6 months, she will go in for open heart surgery. But as of now, she's good. Everything's good. Her oxygen is good. Her heart's beating good. It's like she's just like a normal baby. It's really interesting because in the past, babies who have been born with tautology, they didn't know. So congratulations to me, but I'm excited that the technology, new medical technology, makes it so these parents know before the baby's born and we can watch for these things. Because before babies, they would know that these babies had tautology, and they would find out later if the child started to have symptoms or sometimes even in some cases pass over. So she was born on Wednesday. We drove up Wednesday night, stayed the night, and stayed with them Thursday day. And we got to see her. She was only 5 pounds, 0.6 ounces. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. And I've been really, really worried about the whole thing. So this is why it's so cool. So on the way to Utah, or all week long, I have been seeing gateway signs, which is so crazy because last week's card was for Cari Connects was gateway. And it was that there was a miracle. There was something amazing going to happen, or you were going to step into who you are, or it was going to be an amazing experience this week. And so on the way to Utah, I kept seeing Gateway Express as a gas station, or the gate to, like, different signs would have gate. And then, of course, all of the mountains. Well, usually from Idaho Falls to Utah, you don't see a lot of the mountain landscapes like that was on the Gateway card. But on the way home from Vernal, tons and tons. But so anyways, on the way there, saw so many signs. So Thursday, we went to the first night of PhenomeCon. And I went to a mediumship reading gallery. And I went to, now if you don't know what a gallery is, it's when a bunch of people go, like 30 or 40 people go, and the medium does lots of different readings. And this medium has been on, the one with Kesha, she's been on a few shows that are on the Travel Channel, and her name is Sarah Lemos, and I wanted to watch because she's been on some shows, and just like with Cindy Keza, I wanted to take a class with Cindy, and so I have been starting to do galleries too, and so I kind of just wanted to get just ideas, see if I'm where I need to be, if I need to add more things, or just kind of measure where I need to be. And I didn't expect a reading at all. So that day we got there, we just kind of went and checked out the events. and the vendors, and most of everything had already taken place. All the speakers had already taken place and all. But there was a little tattoo shop, and so was one of the vendors, and so I got a little heart tattoo. If you're watching, you can see it on my wrist. There's lots of reasons I got this, because one, there's a story about my youngest little girl who, when she went to school, if you haven't read The Kissing Hand, I would kiss my hand and I would kiss her hand, so when she missed me at school, she could put it on her cheek. My oldest daughter does this with her with her son. She draws a heart on his wrist and hers. So it kind of did that. Plus, it was the heart for Nellie, and it symbolized Nellie. So this to me symbolized my children and my grandchildren. So that night we went to the gallery reading by Sarah Lemos, and I did not expect a reading at all. I just was there to I just wanted everybody else to get their messages. And, it's so weird being on the other side of readings, because I do readings every day, and it's so interesting. And I've been kind of struggling with all of the stuff that's going on in our family and doing these readings and kind of like, what's my next step? Where do I go from here? And I've actually been having some health issues because I've been having some issues with vertigo. And I really think it's because of the stress and because of the gift. I, tell people all the time that this gift can make me tired. It can make me, I kind of feel like my up here, the nasal cavities, all of that stuff, the tumor, all of it kind of has to go with, I feel, part of what I do. I have a gut feeling that it's all kind of combined. And so I've been struggling with vertigo. In fact, 2 weekends ago, I was actually in the ER because I had severe vertigo and couldn't get on top of it. So anyways, it's been so crazy. And so we go to this gallery reading, and the first person that comes through is my dad. She says there's a man named Bill. She kind of starts talking. There's 2 people in the gallery that have a father figure that passed that was named William or Bill. But she kind of talks a little bit more, and I kind of like, okay, I think this is my dad. So then we get to, yes, it's my dad. And she says, does he have 2 kids? Like her reading setup is, the way she does her readings is very similar to mine. So I've gone to other mediums, and we have different, it's fun to go to other mediums, not to measure or compare, but just to see. I just want to make sure I'm on the same wavelength, or I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or that I have quality readings, that I'm doing quality readings. And me and her are kind of similar. We read kind of similarly. And during this, so my dad came through, and which was kind of amazing because I don't usually receive the readings. I mean, they're usually the one giving the readings, so it was kind of interesting. But at the end, I mean, she kind of like validated some things about my dad, which is awesome. But at the end, she said, "Are there health issues?" And at first, I was like, "Yes," but I didn't know if he was talking about Nellie or if he was talking about me because of the vertigo. I assumed he was talking about Nellie, and she said they're going to be okay. And then at the end of her little gallery readings, she gives a little to everybody who gets a reading. She gives a little stone to, which I thought was so cool. And if I get her permission, I might start copying that too, because I just think that was interesting. And it solidified the reading for me. It was so cool. When she handed me my little stone, it was a little heart, which totally went with Nellie, which totally went with my tattoo. And so it was awesome because to me, it solidified that the tattoo, my dad was with me. My dad was watching over me. And not that I didn't think that he was, but it helps that because I went in there with no expectation at all. I was actually there to learn. This was a job for me. I was there to learn. So it was the most, and then it kind of hit me too, because sometimes I always wonder if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm really actually helping people, if this is really helping people. Is it a good thing? Do I keep going? And so at that moment, I realized this is what I do every day. I help people get this feeling. I help people to know that their loved ones are around them and it's going to be okay. And so it was like a rebirth for me. It was like, okay, what I am doing does affect people. It helps people. And I want to continue to do that. I don't want to, all about it is just, I don't want to hurt people. I want to help them, and I help them with their spiritual experiences, help them with their spiritual growth, help them to have closure, help them to find their loved ones. So anyways, it was really cool, and it helped me see the other side of what people get, or people, and I've had readings before, so don't get me wrong, but it just came at a really, the other readings I also went into to learn, and this one just kind of caught me by surprise, and so it turned a learning experience into, you've got this. And even though I tell people all the time in readings, and spirits come through all the time and say, we're with them, we're with you. And even though my readings are so specific and so detailed too, like, so this is what's going on, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. And they've got you, they're helping you, they're doing this. It solidified that when I'm going in the right direction, I'm doing the right thing, and that spirit is always with you. And then it was just, and Vernal, if you don't know, is covered by all those like mountains, that those oh, I don't even, like mesas that were like on the card, on the gateway card. So it was a magical, and then the weekend just even got even better. I learned from lots of different people. It's so crazy to me too, because this PhenomeCon was about, mediums and phenomena, paranormal stuff, aliens, Bigfoot, all of these things. And usually these things are separate. Like, mediums don't like to go into Bigfoot, and Bigfoot doesn't like alien people, and alien doesn't like, paranormal stuff. But honestly, I have known from day one that these are all combined. They are all combined somehow. They all come from the same place. They all come from somewhere out of this world, or somewhere different. And so to me, I've always been so fascinated on how it all combines. And so PhenomeCon was awesome for me in that way, that they combined everything. So we got to see all the people from Skinwalker Ranch. And I've talked about Skinwalker Ranch before, and how I think it's all combined. I think they not only have like alien stuff going on there, they have paranormal stuff. And George Knapp was a reporter who talked about things that happened at Skinwalker Ranch in the beginning, and how they saw real skinwalkers, like actual dogs, men, like in the beginning. Like, it seems crazy and odd, but people actually saw dog men in trench coats, like smoking cigarettes on Skinwalker Ranch. And so and then they had the Bigfoot expedition people there too, that talked about Bigfoot. And I think it's all combined. I think it's all combined, and it all comes from the same place. I mean, Bigfoot could be an alien, right? Or a parallel universe, or anyways, they talked, and they gave talks. And then of course, Dave Schrader from Paranormal 60, which you guys all know that I love. He's so intelligent when it comes to the paranormal, and he knows so much about the paranormal. And he's also had a Bigfoot experience. He was there. I unfortunately missed his talk because we didn't get there, because we were visiting Nellie on Thursday. But I got to meet him. He signed his book that he wrote, and it's so fascinating and fun to learn from these people. And also too, there was a guy that does the 411 missing, and he goes into all of the missing cases that were they just disappear. There's no sign of them. There's no any kind of evidence that they're even around. It was an amazing, and I didn't even know David. I don't know his last name, and I don't want to ruin it, but he gave an exceptional, talk about the missing, and how it can be UFO related, some of the missing people, and how it's all combined, like some of the missing people they all have certain traits. Like, German was one of them. It was crazy to me, but being alone, and being in the woods, or being in a place that you're by yourself. Runners are one, which kind of scared me too. And hunters are a big one. And he has written many books. I'll put that information down in the show notes. But he talked, and then George Knapp talked, he was a journalist for, he's won the Peabody Award for all of this. He was a huge journalist in the information that came out recently about unidentified, they're called UAPs. and the government came out with that report too. So he was a big part of that. And so listening to all of this, what I do wish is that I would have got more pictures. But I don't like to bug people. So I don't like to be like, hey, do you want to take a picture with me? So I need to get better than that. But mostly too, I learned that Spirit is with me. And I have been so stressed out about all the things that have been going on in our lives lately. And I'm not the only one, you guys. There's been so many people that have reached out to me, especially the last couple of weeks, and said, my life is a total mess. Things are so hard. And not to make anybody's problems less than anybody else's, but it's kind of a common thing right now. We are all going through something big, and that could be depression, anxiety, health issues. All of us seem to be going through something really big right now. And what I want to remind you is sometimes I'm so independent and I think that I've got to do these things on my own. And I teach that Spirit's with you, but it doesn't ever really hit me until it like Spirit whacks me in the head. That gateway card, man, like I do follow Cari Mugz signs, but that gateway card, and it was so crazy because the way that card came out, it like already fell out before I even spread it. And I was thinking, do I do this card? And then I was like, yes, I need to do it. But Spirit's with you. I know right now is hard, and I know things are struggling, and I know it's causing you so much anxiety, and I know it can cause you so much fear. But I promise you 100% Spirit's with you. So watch for the signs. And even if they're not the Cari Mugz signs, even if they're just normal signs that your loved one gives you, just know that they're there. I don't even know how to explain it. And if you want more, ask them for more. Ask them for more signs. But be aware that, I could have missed those gateway signs so many times. I could have been like, those are just, Gateway Express gas station, the gate to, so many signs had the word gate in them. And I could have just been like, oh, that's coincidence. But it's not. And I know it's not. And I saw the word gateway at least 5 times last week. And honestly, too, on my way to Salt Lake, there are not a lot of mesas on the highway part to Idaho Falls. We took the back way from Vernal to Idaho Falls, and there's so many mesas, so many. And it just solidified to me that Spirit's got you. Spirit is with you. And especially during these times that you struggle and that you don't think you can make it one more day, or that you know that there's something up and you don't know how to change it. Spirit has you. Like Spirit, surrender to Spirit. Spirit supports you. Your ancestors. Like I thought if anybody was going to come through for that reading, it would be my grandma, and it was my dad. And during this gallery too, I learned. There's so many old school ways. During my training, I've been trained by Lisa Williams, Cindy Keza, Tony Stockwell. I've taken classes, Colby Rebel. I've taken so many mediumship classes because I've so badly wanted it to be perfect, and I so badly wanted it to be quality. But I have to remember, I work for Spirit. Spirit sends me you, and Spirit is the one who sends you to me. And I work for Spirit, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be, I'm just such a perfectionist. And some of the old school ways that mediumship was taught is that you do straight, you don't go in and say, who are you looking for? You just be like, okay, you read the spirit that's in the room. But during this gallery, she would look at a person and be like, who do you want to come through? And she would use that person as a portal. And I thought, that is brilliant. That is a brilliant way to do that. If you and then she also not only did readings, but she taught a lot. She taught and talked about mediumship and how it affected her and how it makes her unhealthy sometimes, and she gets fibromyalgia and things like that. And I thought I could probably explain a little bit of that but actually it kind of made me feel like I wasn't a loser, because I've been going through some health issues with the vertigo and the tumor the last year, and I keep thinking I'm a pansy, and I'm not. Sometimes mediums go through, she said, mediums have a lot of health issues, and it's because they're constantly reading, they're constantly connecting. And also too, it's okay. I used to shut down outside of the readings. I used to be like, okay, I'm going to try and block it. I want to shut down. And I don't want to anymore. I want to be more open because all these people sometimes are having these experiences outside of readings. And I kind of told Spirit, I want to have these experiences too. And they said, but you told us that you wanted it to only be during readings. And I'm like, okay, I kind of changed my mind. So things can change. And it's good for me to see these other mediums at work so I can fine tune how I want to be, not be like them and not compare myself to them, but kind of decide this is how I want my readings to be. And I really do. I don't want to like stroke my ego, but I really want my readings to be detailed and specific. I want you to know without a shadow of a doubt that this is your loved one and they know what's going on in your lives. And that's what I focus my readings to be on. And some mediums don't. I had a reading about 2 weeks ago, and it was a lot about my guides that came in. I did have some spirits show up, but it was my guides came in and gave me business advice on what I should do next. And so it really, if you go into a mediumship reading, set your intentions on what you want, and you can tell the medium of what your intentions are without giving too much information. And honestly, if you really want a good reading, that's probably what you should do. Kind of set your intentions to the medium. I want it all to be evidential mediumship. You don't have to say, I want my dad who died on August 2nd to come through. You just say, I want to talk to my past loved ones. Or you can say, I want more psychic, and I want to know what's going on in my family life. I want to know what's coming up for me in the future. I want to know what my purpose is. Or you can say, I want to talk to my guides, and I want to know what's coming up for me. So go in there with an intention. And I've always gone into readings with intentions, but this makes it more validified for me. Excuse me. And it makes me realize too that being on the other side of that was kind of profound for me, because it makes me realize that this gift is important. Everybody has this gift. For some reason, some people can tune into it more than others, probably more practice. But for some reason, I am where I am right now to help people and to move forward and to give them the same experience that I experienced, and that validation that your spirits are here. So it was kind of cool, this PhenomeCon thing, because it was, you put they're kind of famous people on a pedestal, and you kind of like to learn from them. And so when you're actually with them and talking to them, it's kind of cool to realize too that they're just normal people. They're just normal people, and they go through all the trials, and they're sent with different gifts. We're all here with different gifts. So to help each other or to help others. And so it was the most, and then on the way home, so many signs, so many different signs, it was just such a spiritual experience. I mean, learning and working and learning from my peers is awesome, but there was so much spiritual learning too. But I have to be honest, most of the spiritual learning that I learned was not inside the classrooms. It was like in between. It was on the way home, on the way there with the tattoo. So honestly, you could get that if you're looking for something like that. You could go to any type of retreat or any trip on your own. This made me decide that I am going to start doing more retreats, because this was kind of like a work retreat for me, to learn from my peers. But honestly, I feel like people could come to a retreat and I could teach these same things and we could have these same experiences, and it could be amazing. And also too, I decided that I do want to I want to plan spiritual trips. I want to take trips to Scotland and Egypt, and I want to take people with me, and I want to have spiritual experiences there. I want to teach them about the history there and the spirit there. And so I will be doing that. I'm going to Scotland this September, in a year from now. And I'm going to be going with some other mediums, and we're going to be learning things. But while I'm there, I'm going to learn how I can also take people on these trips, my clients and people, the spunksters, on these trips, and we can learn and have spiritual progression because this weekend was about work and it was about learning, but also too on the outside of it was very, very spiritual and symbolic. The whole thing with Nellie was amazing. We were so worried that she was going to be born and have to have open heart surgery immediately. And we were so blessed to know, which I have to tell you the story about Nellie. When we first learned about, is really, really kind of a sacred story, but when we first learned about her tetralogy of Fallot, some of my clients already know about this because I told them the story when they were at a class of mine. But when we learned about the tetralogy of Fallot and I knew the extent of it, I kind of broke down during a meditation and started crying and said to Spirit, please, if you're going to take this baby, take me instead. I just can't watch my kids go through this. And then a little 5-year-old spirit showed up, a little Nellie. And she said to me, Grandma, everything's going to be okay. And so I knew things were going to be okay. But at the same time, and just so you know, pregnancy, the spirit, when you're pregnant with this baby, the spirit can come and go. There's 3 times that spirits can kind of come in and out, and that's during Alzheimer's and comas and pregnancies. From what I know, from what I've learned from when spirits come through and talk to me. Maybe I'm off, but that's what I've learned. That's what they've told me. And so she comes and she says, everything's going to be okay. And then when my dad said the same thing in this reading, I mean, there were just a few points that were like right on. And then when he says everything's going to be okay. And then the whole heart thing, I knew it just kind of solidified it. It tied everything up, right? And so it was just an amazing experience in that way. And so I just want mostly you to know, I'm not the only one that can have I rarely have, I do readings every day and give these people these spiritual experiences, right? But I don't have them very often because I just kind of take for granted that Spirit's there and I see the signs and I'm like, oh yeah, I see that sign. I know this. This one kind of just stopped me in my tracks. And I think it's just because of everything that's been going on with the vertigo and all of the things that, all the things that have been going on in our family with the Nellie and the wedding and all of that. It just kind of solidified for me. This is real. This is how, because I take it for granted too, because I see the signs. So don't take the signs for granted. Don't take this for granted. Spirit is with you. I know things are hard right now, but Spirit is with you. Spirit's got you and Spirit loves you. And you are fully protected and guided and it's going to be okay. And one of my clients that came for a group reading, not last week, but a week ago, said that one of her favorites, they went to a concert and she wasn't sure about this one artist, his Jelly Roll. And I think that's his name. I don't want to, but he has a song that I'm not okay, but it's okay to not be okay. And so I just want you to know it's okay to not be okay right now. And don't try and do it all on your own. That's what I always do. I always try and do it on my own, think I have to do it. But Spirit's 100% guiding you and directing you, and Spirit's got you. And surrender to that and know, watch for the miracles. Don't just wait for Cari Connects to tell you that there's a miracle coming. Watch for the miracles yourself. This week is on Cari Connects is watch for the animals. Watch for those animals. Like the craziest thing happened on a run just 2 days, before I got the vertigo, and a bunny just kind of at a park just kind of popped out right in front of me. Don't take those. A lot of people would just be like, oh, there's a cute little bunny. Don't take those. Google that. Google what a bunny means. Google it. Because there's signs in everything, but not everything is a sign. Does that make sense? Like the Native Americans believe that everything that happens is a sign of some sort for you. But here's my thing too. If you come to a reading and I tell you that your dad comes through to you in feathers, you can't go to the green belt and be like, oh, there's my, you can't go to a place where there's chickens and ducks and be like, oh, there's my dad. It has to just organically happen. So watch for those signs. Watch for the amazing blessings and spirit to come through. And sometimes it's hard because grief is no joke. A loss of a loved one is no joke. And it's hard to see the love and see that you're guided and directed when you're going through these things. Depression is no joke. But really try and make it a game. Try and ask your joy guides to bring you some sort of laughter every day. And when they do, thank them. Because your guides are kind of just all around you, waiting for you to just listen. And that's what was kind of going on with me. I knew that they were there, and I was telling you guys they were there. And I see that they're there, but I kind of took it for granted. And this one, Spirit was like, here it is. And so don't wait for Spirit to be like, here it is. Watch for the miracles every day. And yeah. So anyways, I kind of took September off a little bit because I didn't know what was going on with Nellie. I do have the last two. I am adding some readings, rescheduled readings in September that I had to reschedule because of the vertigo thing and the Nellie thing. But I will come full force with my events in October. There will be more classes, more events, more gallery readings, full force, because this burned and I got to get the vertigo under control, but this really, really lit my fire, and I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I'm all in. So watch for those things. They're coming up in October. And if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, if you want to know about all these events, you need to go to my website at carimugz.com and sign up for my newsletter, because my newsletter people are the ones who know first. And usually I don't even have to put the stuff on social media, because my newsletter people have already it's already sold out, because my newsletter people get on there and they get in and it's already sold out. So if you're not on my newsletter, I suggest you go to carimugz.com. Get my newsletter, because those are where all the events are posted. If you scroll down to the bottom of the newsletter, it will show all my events coming up. And those people are the first to know. So I love you guys so much. And please remember to watch for the signs. Watch for the signs, and remember you have everything you already need inside you. You are the magic. And your guides are helping you create this magic. And so just watch for the signs. I love you so much, and I will see you guys next week.